Hey guys, my name is Zaid, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how I ended up getting into tech. So I came to the States as a refugee when I was really young. I was about 6 years old. We came, moved around for quite a bit. We were in Guam, Hawaii, and then we ended up staying in San Diego, California for about a year or two. After that, my father ended up getting a job in Maryland, so we ended up moving there. And I stayed there for about 6 or 7 years, which is the longest I've ever stayed anywhere. And then after that, I did really well in high school. My grades were fine. I just didn't kind of really want to go to college. I don't think it was for me. And a man in a fancy suit came up to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to join the Marine Corps?" And I said, "Yeah, I do, as long as I get to get a fancy suit too." And they ended up giving me one, which was pretty cool. So I did that for 4 years. I was in the Marine Corps for about 4 years. Second best thing to ever happen to me. First best thing being coming to the States. And it was just a fantastic experience. I got to travel the world. I ended up in Japan for about 2.5 years. I was on a ship for 6 months. I went to the Philippines, a bunch of islands down there. It was really a great time. But after that, I ended up going to California for my last duty station, and that's when I was about to get out. And initially, I was going to stay in California because if you've never been there, it's the greatest place in the world. So initially, I was going to stay there and go to college there. I had everything lined up, I had paid my dues. But one of my officers kind of told me to get out of my comfort zone. I loved California and it was incredible, but he was kind of right. I was pretty used to it. It was fun, but it was time for something new. So I ended up applying to some schools on the East Coast, and I ended up getting into Columbia, which was fantastic. I couldn't believe it, and I ended up going to school there. I finished in 2017 with an economics degree, and I knew I wanted to get into finance. That was something that always appealed to me, even when I was in the Marine Corps. And what I ended up doing was interning my freshman year. I interned my sophomore year, junior year. And I ended up getting an offer my junior year to come back, which was great. And that I ended up going to an investment bank in Midtown called Jeffries. I did that for about 2 years. It didn't really click with me. I had a bunch of my friends that are in tech, and they kind of, told me about their lifestyle, what they did, and it just kind of piqued my interest a little bit more. So I ended up doing a 6 month boot camp at Columbia after work. We met quite a bunch for about 6 months. It was pretty. It was fun, but it was tough. But it was definitely worth it. So I ended up doing that boot camp, which is fantastic. I was openly, on Code Academy, just trying to better myself when it comes to programming. And I ended up looking at all these tech roles and applying to some. Obviously, none of them are going to call you. The majority of them probably won't call you back. But there are the handful that kind of do end up seeing your resume, and they're the ones that are interested. And I was lucky enough that a company that I really was kind of into, I didn't think I was going to get looked at, was interested in me, which it was YEXT. And so they have a fantastic rotational program, which is exactly what I was looking for. They were looking for people with experience that wanted to break into tech. And we ended up going through a interview process over the phone, over Zoom, in person, a super day, all the usual stuff. And then they ended up actually telling me just a week after I interviewed, and I took the job instantly. I knew that that's something I wanted to do, and I knew that they would let me groom. They would groom me into what I wanted to be, which was fantastic because most companies don't give you that opportunity. So I'm currently doing that right now, and it's actually pretty fun. The program has us going into 3 rotations. I already did my first one. I'm currently on my second one, and I'll be going to my third one in July. So pretty excited about that. It's been a fun ride for now. Hope you guys have the same.
So I currently work at a company called YEXT, which is headquartered over here in New York City. And YEXT is a search experience cloud company. So basically what this means is that we have software that'll make traditional site search, which is when you go on a website, and you try to find wherever their search bar is and you put in a question, and the results that you get are absolutely nothing. And sometimes they're linked to something else, which makes zero sense. So we have software that we can install to these websites for these companies and all these clients, that when you put in a question, you'll actually just get an answer back instead of links. So some of the places that are currently using our technology, the World Health Organization, they're a client, the State Department, what else? State of New Jersey, just all these companies and governments that we're trying to help out during the COVID. We're giving it to them for free, which is pretty sweet. So that's cool as a technology company to be able to do that. For my specific role, I'm in the second rotation of my 3 rotation program, and my team is called the Sales Operations Team. So my day-to-day involves